Hi, it's Zena Krogadal. Welcome to American Dream Makers. Today, I have a very exciting guest, Robin Binkley. She is amazing. So, you will definitely want to tune in. But first, let me play my intro video and I will introduce her. Here we go. I am back. It is Zena Krogadal, your host for American Dream Makers today. And I have an amazing guest on today. I'm so excited to introduce her. Her name is Robin Binkley, and she does so many things here in the Prescott area. And I just cannot wait to have her tell you all about her. She's been around in the area since 2001, and she's got so much to tell us about. So I'm just not even going to wait any longer. I'm going to bring her back on here. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Zena. Nice to see you.
So nice to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I was laughing this morning. It's been so long since I've had a private chat with you that two busy women have to get on Zoom or podcast to do it these days. So nice to see you.
It's very nice to see you. I know, and when we do see each other around town, it's usually a quick hi, hello, and there's just not that much time. So, but I'm glad that we can at least have this platform to have a conversation. And not only that, but now we can have not just a private conversation between just you and I, but to be able to share with our community who you are and what you do. So without further ado, hey, oh, by the way, for those of you that are watching this live, please be sure to share this out. Robin has amazing, amazing nuggets of wisdom, and she's just a fantastic woman. So I want to be able to get her message out so that everybody else can benefit and be inspired by her, just like I've been inspired. So please be sure to share. And if you watch it on the replay, please be sure to share. So yes, Robin, please tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Zena. Well, probably the most important part of myself is that I'm a God-loving, God-fearing Christian woman, just trying to follow my path and do the best thing. And some of the gifts I've been given are my family, my wonderful husband, Tom Binkley, and three amazing adult children, Christina, Tommy, and Hayden. Those are the just the highlight and best parts of my life. But as you said, in addition to that, I've also been blessed with a Allstate Insurance and Financial Services business, one here in Prescott Valley and one down in Scottsdale as well. So as an overview, that's me.
Well, that's great. And to run two offices, that must be very fulfilling, but they must also come with some challenges. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's one of those one of those things where you're excited about the opportunity for expansion, and then you're like, "What the heck did I do?" So, but you learn, you grow from anything, that's a challenge, or even maybe a mistake. You learn a lot from those mistakes. So the Scott's office has been in operation for 3 years now, and like Prescott Valley, I've been very, very blessed with the people that I get to go to work with every day.
Wow, that's great. And so when did you decide to expand? When did you go from one office to deciding to do two?
Probably 4 years ago, I heard that my mentors, they were regional managers at Allstate, and then sometime over the years, they had bought their own agencies, and they were ready to retire. So I actually thought it would just be kind of sweet for me to circle back around and buy their business so that I could allow them to, move into retirement. Kind of sweet thought turned into, wow, big acquisition, and a lot of hurdles, a lot of challenges, a lot of why did I do this, along the way. Of course, we opened in January of 2020. So it was a interesting time for everybody in business. And we were just opening up another business in the Valley. So, but that was my whole thought process was I would love to let my mentors retire and move forward into that next phase of life. That was as much thought as I put into that one.
Well, that's great, and I'm glad you took that plunge to do it because you are very kind and you're very knowledgeable in what you do, and so you're out there helping a lot of people. So that's great. So I do want to touch a little bit more on the business end, but I would like to go back a little bit further and hear about who is Robin Binkley? Where did you grow up? What got you to the place of owning your own insurance agency? So just kind of tell us about what all led up to that.
That does go way back. So I was born in San Antonio, Texas, and I saying I is incorrect because I am a twin to a man. So we were born in San Antonio many years ago. And a little rough first 3 years. We were in foster care, and they were going to adopt my twin to one family and me to another family. And my eldest half sister at the time turned 18 years old and adopted us and put us on a train for Phoenix, Arizona. So that's Mom. She legally adopted us and lives with us, not with us, but here in Prescott to this day. And so I grew up in Phoenix and then in Tucson, and went to Pima College and U of A. And since I've been in the insurance industry, American College of Finance every year. Continuing education, of course. But what the Allstate agency is not my first business. I did work for a couple of Fortune 100 companies before I decided to have my own business, and decided that corporate America was just not the fit for me. And what happened is while I was working for one of those large corporations, I had what the Arizona Republic termed a near fatal car accident. It's just one of those things that sometimes the worst thing that happens in your life is the best thing that happened. So I spent a year in rehab, and I was 12 weeks pregnant when I had the accident with my second child. Probably took a little longer because of that, but I was in rehab for a year. And of course, corporate America, they said I could come back, but not in the same position. And I thought, I could do what I'm doing for them, which was sales training, on my own. I know how to do it. I created the curriculum and everything. So I started a company called Success Concepts. That would have been, dating myself, 1994, probably. I worked with a lot of hospitality. I worked with Harrah's and Hilton and Hyatt. I called them my H customers, and brought in some other experts to help me do a customer service and sales training for those entities, and was traveling a lot at that time. So my husband was also traveling 25 states. And then we had 2 children. And then we had my 40th birthday surprise, my youngest baby. I was actually in St. Paul. I remember it to this day. I was in a conference room training some clients, and a gal said, asked me about my family. And she said, "So where's your little one today? If you're here, where's your little one?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. He's with dad or grandma or somewhere." And I heard myself say, I don't know where my youngest child is today. And I cried all the way home on the plane. And I told my husband we need to make some changes. And very long story short, that we ended up trying to simplify and moving to Prescott, and one of the best moves we've ever made.
So you were in this really horrific car accident, it sounds like. Correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was it just you in the car?
Me and my unborn baby, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I was headed down I-10 at the Broadway curve. Everybody that knows the area knows that at rush hour it slows down there. And a gentleman behind me was delivering chairs to what used to be the Point, South Mountain. Big delivery truck, and he didn't know where he was going, so he got on his cell phone to call his office. I was slowing down with the rest of traffic. He looked up and tried to swerve to avoid me, so he hit my right bumper, and I was in a top-heavy SUV at the time, and the car spun and hit the guardrail, rolled, and long story short, there were 12 vehicles involved in the accident, and I was taken to the Maricopa Hospital there, the closest trauma center there. So part of my issue with why I teach kids in school not to talk on the phone or text and drive, so.
Yes, the distraction for sure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you were 12 weeks pregnant?
Weeks, uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And your baby survived?
Yes. My eldest son, Tommy, is perfect naturally. I hope he doesn't see this. But yes, he's 29 years old today.
Oh, what a miracle.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You were having to recover from a terrible accident, and you're pregnant.
Yes.
Carrying a little one. Wow. Had to been quite a long several months.
It was also my introduction to natural healthcare. Because I had such severe whiplash that I was like a bobblehead. My head just like bobbled on my shoulder. And I crushed my hands, I crushed my feet, and, obviously had some other lacerations and things. But they wanted to do several surgeries. They wanted to do carpal tunnel surgery, neck surgery, etc. And of course, I said no. I was pregnant, and the most important thing was taking care of my baby. And so that was a true blessing, because I met some people in the natural healing world, and live in that world to this day. So one of the blessings that came out of that.
Wow.
And positive thinking, also, came out of that to this day. I remember many years ago, at Chandler Hospital, my physical therapist was very adamant about thinking about your healing and being positive about the direction you were heading in. And we had Thanksgiving, and my mom told my brother that, to help me pick up a pot from the stove, because Robin can't do these things anymore. And I said, we don't say things like that, Mom. And she said, well, what do we say? And I said, well, we say Robin's getting better all the time. That's all I could think of at the moment, that I was trying to follow my physical therapist's, rules about positive thinking, and it works.
And what a fantastic thing that you learned. I mean, that probably was sounds like one of the most valuable lessons that a hard lesson to learn, being in the situation you were in, but that caused you to really be victorious and a survivor, to just thrive. You weren't even just going to just live, but now you were going to thrive, because with that positive thinking, because that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
right? That you have to continuously think positive things because there's a lot of ups and downs and
Mhm.
turns and unexpected things that happen. And sometimes you feel like you can be in crisis mode, but if you cave into that, it can be to your detriment. But if you can stay positive and have that mindset, it gets you out. Do you find that to be very true?
Absolutely. I don't want to say that I didn't have a little pity party, the first week or so. But I did have a sheriff's officer show up at my door at my home and ask my husband if he could see me. And I was home from the hospital because I literally had to refuse care and sign a bunch of papers. And so I was at home, and he came in and he said, well, God must have more for you to do in this life. And I said, I'm sure. And he said, I just need to tell you that you have guardian angels all around you. And I said, oh, thank you. I know. And he goes, no. He goes, I mean, I saw guardian angels all around you. And this is oh gosh, this man must have been like 6'4", big old sheriff guy. And he's tears up. I was like, so it gave me a responsibility, to be good, be better, be my best, because I was given a huge gift. So yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's just amazing, amazing that that he came to your door to check on you, but then to also tell you that
Yeah.
you were so loved by God that you had guardian angels all around you, and
Yeah.
here you are today. So I mean, and that just shows why you are such an inspiring woman. I mean, I always knew when I met you, Robin is a strong, courageous woman, and I know she, there's something that has um, happened in her life to get there. Because I've met enough people to know that when you meet strong people, they weren't just born that way, right?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
That although that would have been a lot nicer and easier if we were just born with,
um,
like,
Probably, but I've lived. I don't want to sound like an old sage or anything, but I've lived. I've lived long enough to be very, very thankful for the trials.
yeah.
Not only that big one, but all the little ones and
Well,
that come along the way.
Well, just the one that when you were born sounds like with you and your brother,
Right.
being twins and
Yeah.
them trying to find a home and trying to split you up because they weren't sure if somebody would take you. And how
Right.
old were you when you were adopted?
3 years
3.
old.
So
Yeah.
it took 3 years. So you were in foster care for a while. So that had to been tough too. I mean, do you have any memories of that at all?
Only what relatives say. I had relatives take my older sisters at the time and say, we wish we could have. They call us the twins. We wish we could have taken the twins. At the time, and they described the. Uh, I guess the care center where there were just beds of cribs and little beds, for youngsters lined up and where we were. So just probably more from their memories, than mine. My oldest sister did say on the train ride to Phoenix, Arizona, that I was 3 and asked if I could call her mom. So at that point, somehow I just feel like I remember, okay, I have a mom, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that must have been great though that you had your brother, uh, your twin brother, not just a
mhm,
brother, but your twin brother who had
right.
been through all of the same things that you had been through. So what
Mhm.
was that like having a twin brother to lean on, count on?
Well, um, I couldn't be more different from back then. Of course, we're like this, but you would be totally shocked how different we are. But he was a free spirit early on, and we lived off a dreamy draw in Phoenix when there was nothing, out there, and he would just take off into the mountains at 3 years old and 4 years old. I cannot tell you how many times the police officers and sheriffs brought him back to our house, and so I took on the maternal role for him. And supposedly I had an ulcer when I was 4 years old or something, worrying about my little brother. So we used to dress him in red and tie balloons to him and everything. So I was very feeling very responsible for him. We had a mom and a dad at that point and everything, but I guess just being just the two of us together for the first 3 years, I took on I gotta protect the two of us.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that is your personality, is that you are very nurturing and caring, and you care about others. And so, that was something that obviously was in you from a very young age. So
yes.
that's great. So then, when did you meet your husband, Tom?
Oh gosh. I had moved from Tucson to Phoenix, and I was 27, maybe just 27 years old. And he moved from Chicago to Scottsdale, actually, the same month that I moved. And we both moved into the same condo complex. So I met him. I saw this gentleman riding a bike, and I was a bike rider at the time. And actually, I was riding. We used to ride from Scottsdale to Fountain Hills for breakfast. So that, not anymore. That wasn't back then. But I actually saw him on the side of the road, and I knew he was this gentleman in my apartment complex. And his bike was broken down. He had busted a tire, and his tube was dried out. So we walked about halfway back together, and he kept saying, "You go ahead, don't worry about me." And because I stopped to see if I had a tube that would work for him or whatever. So it was, God just put us together. So we walked quite a number of miles back to our condo complex, and that's how we met.
That's great. And you've been married how long now?
Well, May 20th, it'll be 34 years.
Wow, 34 years.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah.
That is amazing. The other thing I want to ask, so Tom also owns his own business, the window covering business. And
Yes.
when did he establish that? Was it about the same time you?
Yes, 2010. He worked for major corporations as well. He worked for Sony and Alpine Electronics and JVC, but there's none of that in Prescott. So he decided to start his own business. So Prescott Window Coverings was his first business. He also has a business in Cave Creek called Aspire Window Coverings, and our oldest son runs that window covering shop. So, and he's amazing. He's won all kinds of national awards and $1 Million Club, this and that. But it's just because he really, really, really cares about people. When he comes home, I don't hear about what window coverings they installed. I hear about where they came from, their pets' names, everything about his customers. So he's amazing.
He is amazing. He is a very, very nice man for sure.
Yeah.
And so I'm also curious. So as two entrepreneurs, you took the risk of leaving the corporate world together.
Mm-hmm.
That had to have been a little bit scary, doing that. So you had to, was that a challenge on your marriage during that time, or in those times?
Both a challenge and a blessing, like most things. It was scary. I had become fond of 401ks and health insurance, and so absolutely, it was scary. And by the time we did that, we had children and bills, and the things that all other people have. It was challenging. But mostly we just came together. I to this day help Tom with the marketing and human resources for his business. I think that's the thing is knowing what each of us are good at, and it's opposite. It's opposite. They say God puts opposite people together. And it's so true with us. So instead of going, I don't understand why he does this way, or him doing that with me. It's appreciating the fact that I think differently than he does, and vice versa. And so let's use that.
I think that's great. And I'm glad you shared that, because there's a lot of entrepreneurial couples out there who I think sometimes when because you're setting goals and you're running tasks, you're the bosses. So you're out there doing all these things that you're not working 9 to 5. You're not clocking in and clocking out. I mean, your work is pretty much after hours or whatever it takes, right, to keep it going. And so sometimes you can be coming and going. And like you said, you also still had children to raise. And so it can be very challenging, for a marriage to stay focused on the marriage. So what were some of the things that you and Tom did? I'm guessing for 34 years of marriage to have survived, and not only just survived, but you two truly are in love. I mean, I see you guys around and you still like each other.
You're going to make me cry, Zena. Don't do that.
But it's true. I mean, we see you guys around town and we can tell you still love each other. There's still a fire in there. So I'd like for you to share, if you don't mind, how have you been able to maintain and keep that going? Because that's a challenge in and of itself, in a marriage by itself. But then you add the entrepreneurial burdens, and responsibilities that come, and that can, really exasperate the challenges.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for us, obviously everybody's beautifully and uniquely different. But the biggest thing for us was, I'm going to say for me, was the day that somebody told me that when I'm speaking to my husband, I'm speaking to God's son. That, boy, I really, really started monitoring my words, and more than that, before that, my thoughts, and my actions. And it didn't happen overnight. It didn't. So I think that when little angel told me that, I started having a different relationship. So that was a big blessing. I remember, Tom doesn't like it when I say this story, but he's not on social media, so that's okay. I remember trying to help him more in his office early on with bookkeeping, which I'm not good at. But I was setting up his files, and he walked in the office and he said, where's that CenturyLink file or something like that. And I said, I threw the file folders away because they were dirty and everything. And I have all new labeled file folders here. And he took his clipboard and kind of slammed it on the reception counter. And he said, I had a phone number written inside of that file folder. And I looked it in because he doesn't like slam things on the counter at home. And I turned around and I packed up my briefcase and I said, I am going back to my business and I will never be back here. And I, to this day, do not work in his office. But yes, there's things with working together and being entrepreneurs and working differently that happen in all relationships. But Number one is it is the most important relationship that we have here on earth, not the relationship we have with our business. And as much as I love my team and everything, not the relationship that I have with them. It is the most important relationship I have, above the relationship that I have with my children. And I love my children more than life itself, but it's very important for them to see how much I love their dad and work on that relationship.
That's very beautiful. And I am so thrilled that you said that. You mentioned, a few things that definitely were key is setting good boundaries. It's always important in marriage anyways, but especially in an entrepreneurial couples, you have to set
Mhm.
good boundaries. And you did that. I mean, it took a moment, a heated moment to do it, and that's okay. Um,
Mhm.
and then, like you said, making your marriage a priority. I love hearing
Mhm.
that because as I hear you speak, you have obviously have been taught by the good Lord why He
Mhm.
instituted marriage and the
Mhm.
purpose of it. And so it's beautiful to see that design it, and to have you really be able to, I guess, not only learn these things, but obviously apply them. And
Mhm.
so, how inspirational. I am so glad that you shared that, Robin, because I think there's a lot of people out there who definitely needed to hear that. And that's just beautiful. And that explains why you and Tom, still are so in love after 34 years. That's so awesome.
We are just, it just gets better and better because, I mature over time. We all do. And you keep working at it. You don't make a decision and it happens, just like in business, you don't go, okay, I'm going to speak to him more kindly or whatever. You have those habits and you have to work on we call it cleaning out the stream in our family. A lot of things come down from generations and how we were raised and how what we saw from our parents and what have you. And you have to make a conscious decision and then a daily effort to decide how you're going to create your life. How your marriage is going to be, how your business is going to be.
A true American dream maker you are, for sure, because part of the American dream is not it's obviously the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, and part of that is having a wonderful marriage and a fantastic family along the way of achieving owning your business or doing well financially and owning your own home. And the American dream encompasses a lot of things. uh, so at what age did you, I guess, did you know that God had something different planned for you, a purpose, that you knew there was something more to your life? I know you talked about your accident, but at what point did you know, I, Robin Binkley, am a daughter of the highest king, and he's got something amazing for me?
Mm. So I would love to say there was one pivotal moment and perhaps there was, but I was raised in a Christian family. I People ask me what religion I am, and I was like, well, I was raised Southern Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Catholic, non-denominational. So, which one do you want to pick? So I was always raised, that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So true. However, I was uh, 30, early 30s, and was going to church. Valley Cathedral in Phoenix, was going to church, and our spiritual mentors were, calling us to become better, in many different ways. And so, because of that, I was really disliking them on a particular weekend. And I didn't even want to go to church because I didn't want to see them, or what have you, which is so interesting when you look at things in retrospect. So something was trying to keep me away from church, and I went there. It was Pentecost Sunday, and that day, not to get into too much detail, but that day was very, very pivotal in our lives. That was the day that, that we decided that, divorce was never going to be an option. and, and, and that we were going to live in support of the kingdom. So we're not perfect by any means, and we learn more all the time. But we do the best we can each day.
Thank you for sharing that. That truly is an amazing story. So, with those things that you have learned along the way, how have you applied it in owning your business?
Well, it's just so part of everything that first of all, when I'm hiring somebody, I pray for God to send the best. I only want the best, fit. That hasn't always happened. Believe me, I paid my dues on certain employees, so lessons learned. But my team is an incredible team. And my calling is just to help them reach their highest potential. And it doesn't matter if it's at the business or in their personal life. We're an Allstate family. And anybody who is a customer of ours, we do welcome them to our Allstate family, because that's probably what surprised me about insurance the most. I didn't want to go into insurance. When somebody offered me the opportunity, I literally said, "Insurance? Yuck! I don't think so," and ended up in the industry. But what I didn't realize is it's all about being part of people's families, from marriages to births to growing their businesses or their jobs and their personal assets, to divorce and death, and being with them through all of these challenging times, not just claims or devastating situations. We had a total house fire loss. Again, we have them every year. They happen. Total losses happen. But helping people through that. In everything, I have to ask for guidance. I have to ask for guidance on, oh my gosh, there's so many things on my priority list. What do I do first? Just tell me what to do first. And so, it's just embedded in our environment.
And who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Hi, Jose. Thank you. Good morning to you. And thank you for sharing. We appreciate it so much. Jose is a friend of mine, and he's a great guy. Hopefully one of these days you can meet him. He lives in California. He does amazing things too.
Right.
Yeah. So and that's why I wanted to ask that question, because, there are people out there who own businesses, and there's a lot of insurance agents out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm hearing you speak, your personal growth that you've had over the years sounds like it has really impacted how you are able to connect with people, either your employees or your clients. And that, what you're talking about, that they feel like family to you, that's something that's not always the case.
Oh, absolutely. I guess you just have to know that you're not doing what you're doing for yourself. And believe me, we've been exceedingly abundantly blessed beyond measure because of what we do. But I go back to the Zig Ziglar quote, help enough people get what they want, and you will have everything you need. And that's certainly true. But you're not doing what you're doing for yourself or your family. Our job is to go out there and connect with other people, whatever you're doing, whatever you're doing, go out there and connect and help other people wherever they're at. One of my mentors, was talking to me about communicating with people. I didn't used to. I used to be shy, very, very shy, and he said, you need to learn how to talk to people. And I was like, well, who do I talk to? He said, go to the grocery store clerk and say hi. And I said, what if she says hi back? This was many years ago, Zena, before we knew each other. and so he led me through, we'll talk to her about family, friends, or her occupation, or what she does for recreation. And then from that, you'll figure out what kind of message, you need to share with her. Maybe she's going to share with you. And that's all we do every day is we talk to people about all the things that mean the most to them. And then sometimes there's a message that we can share.
That's fantastic. Just fantastic. And I can tell you're speaking that from the heart. So really appreciate you sharing all of that. So in the insurance world, I'm sure you get all sorts of questions, what's most important and why do I need this insurance? I'm never going to use it. Mm-hmm. So as you've spoken, talking about you're there to serve other people. Mm-hmm. So how do you help people to come to realize that they really do need the services and that it would benefit? And, I know you've talked a little bit about your personal story as to why you felt inspired to go into the business that you're in. So yeah, mm-hmm. How do you get them to realize that?
It was hard in the beginning because a lot of people think insurance is a necessary evil, and especially now it's really expensive and everything. But it was very quickly that I saw how insurance worked. I had 3 insurance incidences myself where insurance greatly benefited. That big accident, was one of them. That was a claim that went the statute 2 years. We were with arbitrators, there was a settlement where they helped. We didn't want any immediate settlement or anything like that, but they did put money aside in a structured annuity to pay for my children's colleges. So we were abundantly blessed. 2 other insurance incidences in my life, but the first week I became an agent, my teammate came back and said, Robin, Mrs. So-and-so is on the phone, and Robin, her son was killed in a car accident last night. I just looked at her and this client is on the phone, and I said, okay, God, you're going to have to give me the words to say to this woman. I have children, and I knew I had no idea, and I had to get through it without losing it, and he did. And I did help her all the way through clearing out the personal belongings from the vehicle. Nothing I ever thought I would be doing. But I realized from experiences in my life that I was prepared to talk to people in those circumstances, loss of a child, loss of a spouse, their home, completely burnt down. And I realized that, at that moment that this insurance thing was about a lot more than premiums, being paid. People work so hard for what they have today that it needs to be protected. And we don't know if you're ever going to use your insurance. We hope you don't have to. But if you do, we want to make sure that you don't lose everything that you've worked your whole life for.
Well, that's great. So I've got, if you want to get a hold of Robin and see how she can serve you, it's allstate.com/Robin Binkley. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So be sure to reach out to Robin. She is an amazing woman and will take great care of you. So, Robin, I really so much appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know you are a really, really busy lady, because not only do you run your own businesses, but you're also serving in the community. And so I appreciate that you have shared, your insight of what it takes to just be a strong, courageous person, along with being able to be a successful entrepreneur, having the great mindset, the positive mindset, attitude of gratitude, and then having such a strong marriage and family life. What else would you like to share with us as we kind of conclude our session here? Maybe you can talk about if you want to share any of the community services that you're involved in, or whatever message you want to leave us with. We really appreciate.
So I know for a fact that when we give back, we are rewarded in more ways than we can even describe. We've been so blessed by this community, personally as a family, and certainly as our businesses. And so we are committed to giving back. So every quarter we do have a nonprofit organization that we support, and that comes out in our monthly electronic magazine. And of course, we're promoting it within the office. And so this quarter is the Relay for Life cancer or fighting organization. But every quarter we have a different nonprofit that we support. As you know, we have supported VA Rep over the years, and we'll continue to support the good work that you do. Talk about giving back to the community. So look who I'm talking to. But the other side of that is it's not just monetarily. When people come get a quote from us or send a referral for a quote, we give them a thank you gift card, but we also give a gift card to the nonprofit organization. And then at the end of the year, Allstate will match however much we give. So the more quotes we do, they don't even have to become customers. It's just our way of saying thank you for introducing us to someone. The more quotes we do, the more we can give back to the community, and then Allstate will match that. So where else are you going to get that kind of opportunity? But more than monetarily, we also, in our agency, we must participate actively in those organizations that we're supporting. So we're there depending on, last year we supported Agape House. It just depends on what organization we're helping and what their need is. But our team is out there, helping them with whatever their need is.
That's great. Yeah, you are definitely everywhere, and we do appreciate all that you do to support the community. And VA Rep definitely is very appreciative of what you do for our veterans. You and Tom are amazing, amazing people. You guys, if you run into Robin and Tom, you definitely want to say hello and get to know them. They are just salt of the earth. They really are, and just a real joy. So again, I just appreciate you so much, Robin. I love you even more now that we have to sit down and really get to hear your heart. Yes, for sure. And one of the things that I do want to touch on, you also we met at a networking group, strategic networking partners. And so it is so important, wouldn't you say, to really get into networking groups and find your tribe, so to speak?
Yes, yeah, it is, and not everyone is right for you. So kind of shop your networking groups, but strategic networking partners, really has been a godsend. It's a wonderful group of, about 100 people now that meet every Thursday morning at the Fen. So it's been a godsend. Beautiful people helping each other, supporting one another in building their businesses, and just developing friendships. So it is important to give back to the community and to support others in their path along the way. So everyone's invited.
Yeah, everyone is invited. Well, thank you once again, Robin, loved having you here. I am going to close us out. Don't disappear. I will be right back. Okay.
Thanks,
So,
Zena.
all right. See you soon.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for sharing this out. Robin truly has a heart full of gold. And so let's get our message out. Be sure to share, and just let people know, to watch it. So we just thank you so much. If you're not a member of our American Dreammakers group, please be sure to join our group. We're also on YouTube. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And tomorrow, tune back in. I've got another special guest. And so bye for now, and we'll see you soon. All right. Good job, Robin.
Thank you. I hope so. I love that. Be fruitful and multiply that you have. I love that. So you did an excellent job too. Thank you for helping me on this this journey.
Well, I appreciate you answering those questions, but part of this platform is that, we do want to highlight your business, but we really want to get to know you as a person, because I think that's kind of the draw for sure, is when people know where your heart is from and why you are the way you are, it makes a huge difference in that connection.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you answering the questions about your entrepreneurial marriage and giving advice, because something that Chris and I are going to start implementing. In fact, we're working on making courses for entrepreneurial couples.
Awesome.
Because we've done marriage counseling at our church, and we really have a love for marriage. But as we've gone into business together, we know, and we've met other entrepreneurial couples, it's so easy to put that on the back burner. It's so easy to not have time for one another. And then you see marriages fall apart, or
Right.
they just don't know how to work through things. And so we've just been praying, just letting God lead us. We just kind of felt like, God is leading us to do something even more than real estate. And this is probably going to be one of those avenues. So I'm going to actually, I think what we'll do is we're going to start out with, I will have a 3-week thing with the women first, and then he'll do 3 weeks with the men, and then we'll come together on the 4th week. And then, of course, if people want to dive deeper, we're going to have retreats, and we're going to do some other things. And so, and if you have time, maybe especially when we're doing the women, if you and Tom have time, but if you have time, if you can jump on just to be a support and give feedback as we're starting to implement, really would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We really just feel, we want to reach and really help people thrive, because we do believe that if you can thrive in your marriage, your business is going to thrive too. Because if that's not right, everything's going to come crumbling down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We, you don't want to share too much, and there's not enough time to share, but we have been students of marriage like crazy. We went through, we went through some tough times, like all couples do, especially when we weren't as connected with God when we were younger. I remember one of the first books we read was The Sanctified Marriage. And then we've read Agebrecht's work. I'm trying to think of it. Obviously the Bible is the main source. But we have been, we tease each other about having I have a PhD in Tom, and he has a PhD in Robin, so we tease each other, but we've put effort in. And I think the important thing is to let your people somehow know that it's worth it, that